1, action.
Nice. Okay, so the first question I want to ask you is, what was the experience that connected us the most and why?
Okay, so I would say, well, obviously the big C in the room, cancer, for those of you who probably know. But we got connected through the charity organisation Maggie's. And I was going to the young women's group, and one of the counsellors pulled me aside and said, we've had a young lady come in, and her name's Shalisha, and she's an actress. And she's feeling a bit nervous about meeting other people coming in, and not sure if she'll find anyone who relates to her and whatever. But we said, oh my God, Georgia does drama too. So we've had cancer and drama. We both, well, you're an actor and I've done acting too. And they were like, we just know that you'll be on the same level. They were like, you're really bubbly and she's got loads of energy too. It's just going to be really great. And then they organised the Look Good, Feel Better workshop. But the irony of it was we were sat on opposite sides of the room.
I know.
On the table.
And I came in late with my face beat. I had red lipstick on.
Yes.
I don't know, because for some reason I thought, I didn't realise we were going to be actually putting makeup on.
I didn't either.
So I came with my face already done, thinking it was just going to be like, I have no idea what I thought.
Yeah, and they just made you take it off.
And I was just like, at one point I was like, should I just make everyone tea while you guys put your makeup on? And it was really funny as well, because the lady herself, because she was like, I don't have any foundation that's dark enough.
Yeah, and she just died, and it was just like we need to be a bit inclusive on these bags. Like, didn't you ask?
I was the only dark-skinned girl there, and I was like, cool. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, it's absolutely fine, because we did get a lot of makeup anyway.
Yeah.
So I was just really grateful to be invited to see other women.
Yeah. Which was amazing.
Which was amazing.
They just make you feel less alone in this experience, but also I think everyone's in such a different part of their journey, whether you're in it, out of it, going like through it, or just still digesting it years later. Everyone's there and we all get it. We're in that bubble.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes like there's people there who can maybe spark anxiety in you because they think things you've never thought and think, oh my God. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It's my YouTube channel.
Sorry. You can bleep me out on that. Or you find people who are like, no, this person's actually going to be really good for me.
Yeah.
And I felt when me and you met, and we actually were able to have that conversation, we got each other's WhatsApps and then we're like, right, let's actually meet up.
Yeah.
Like, just us. Like,
what was your first impression of me then?
At first I thought you were really colourful coming in. And then I think as it was a bit like seminary, we just had to be quite quiet. But as soon as it was over, we're like, hi.
Yeah.
And then we were just like chatting away, and straight it was like, can I have your WhatsApp number? And then I was just excited to really get to know you more, because I knew, well, only from what I was told, that we had that in common. But I just knew when we spoke, we just were on that same bubbly wavelength too.
Yeah, and I thank God for that, because there's nothing worse than somebody else going, you're going to love this person. I can't wait to you two to meet. And then you imagine meeting and
you
being
can't
like,
stand it.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, it's just not my kind of person.
It's like a blind date.
Yeah.
Friendship blind date.
Yeah.
But it actually worked.
It did. And I had never met anybody my age who obviously like similar industry background with cancer in our 20s. Like for me, I was like, no way. But I was also quite surprised that we were kind of the youngest in that particular group, in that area.
Still are, really.
Yeah.
But it's becoming more common now as well. But I feel like it was like, oh, thank God, you get it. And I think because we are in this age group where everyone around you is having babies, everyone's getting married or you are married, everyone's getting a house, and all of a sudden it's like you may be put on a treatment plan where you can't work. Like I was, or like, you're like, I have to have time off because I'm having surgery, and how it impacts your life in a very different way as it would affect someone who is retired.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say that. Like a lot of the women that I met, to be honest, most of the women that I met that particular time had, you know, already got a mortgage, a husband works full time, the kids are in school, and I'm like, I don't have a mortgage, I don't have kids. My husband's have to become my carer, and we're both artists. We're already like, so it was like, oh, it's already a disparity, is that the word? Because it was like, whoa. Whereas with you, it was like, we kind of like still trying to figure out who we are, what we want from the world. And then we've got this big thing that like,
it makes you question sometimes your mortality.
Oh yeah.
But also you don't look at people the same way.
Yeah.
Or you think some of your friends, when they complain about things, you're like, it's really not that bad.
I know, honestly.
It could be worse.
Honestly,
Could be worse.
I actually had a conversation with my husband where I was like, I'm really worried about my empathy levels now because I'm already like, you know, black woman in this like society, in the industry where it's like working twice as hard, gotta shout twice as loud, you know. To then be in this community that I didn't really ask to be a part of, to then be like, hey, just so you know, it's kind of different for us also because we're like young women, you know, so can we like, is there like a little bit of a focus here? Like, you know, what are we saying? Like, where's the, I don't know. It just felt like, you know, when you're looking after children, you got to really, well, like a two or three, and you got to get on the ground with them and meet them at their level. It felt like I needed for people to get on the ground with us, like 20-year-olds being like, okay, guys, what is like the biggest thing at the moment? And it's like, you know, it sometimes feels like fickle things, but they're like really like huge, impactful struggles. And so, so I guess the moral of that story is like, having cancer in your 20s, try and find another person that's going through it.
Yeah, I couldn't have gotten through a lot of it without the community and talking to people. And one thing I would say we also have in common, we also grasped the opportunities to work with charities and platforms to raise awareness.
Yeah.
That also, I don't know about you, but it raised our platforms
honestly
a lot.
I think if you've listened to my other videos where I've spoken about my cancer journey and my sort of story, you'll know that I actually didn't talk about, like, no one knew I had cancer for a long time. The moment that I spoke about it on my Instagram, whoa.
It blows up, doesn't it?
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I was like, first of all, like, I felt really seen, I felt really heard, and I didn't feel alone.
Yes, that was the major thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
The loneliness of going through cancer is like
huge.
It's like you think you know, but you don't know.
No,
it is really, really lonely, and I think I was really scared, obviously, of. Okay. Yeah, I guess I was so scared of how other people were going to react. And once I got it around my head that, like, I cannot control how other people see me now. I can only control, like, how I am and how I navigate my illness and my life. I kind of just didn't care anymore. But the opportunities, like you said, how did you feel? Like, did it come easy to you to
share?
And to work with the charities?
So, I would say when it came to sharing my experience, from the day I got diagnosed, everyone in my family went into a disarray. Everyone showed up at the house, and I just felt straight away I was constantly repeating my story already and what happened over and over and over again, and it was so mentally draining within that one day, because it's like, well, I haven't even had the chance to sit with this and process this, and then like your friends are showing up crying, your family are there and they're hugging you going, you're gonna get through it, you're like, we're here, like, you know, it's all that. And I got really exhausted from it, from that get-go, and then it just clicked in my head and I thought, you know what, I'm going to share this so you all know as soon as I know, and you can read it in your own time. And then I've only had to say it once.
Yeah.
And then it became very therapeutic, because then I met other people who had cancer online, who were giving you loads of advice and little heads ups, or even just support, but also just people who didn't go through cancer, and knowing like you made a difference. Because I had so many young women who went to school with me from high school, and they were like, I never checked myself until I saw your post. You know, you don't think it can happen until it happens to someone you know.
Yeah.
And even then, I saw my friend yesterday, and she was really emotional because I celebrated my 3 years.
Yeah, girl. Oh, damn, I left your gift at home.
How dare you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so annoyed. I'll have to drop it off.
You've witnessed this.
I'll have to drop it off. And I've been thinking about this word legacy and purpose and all this stuff for a long time. And how important is it to me? ? Like, is it important to me ? Does every life have, like...
Do you have to leave a mark?
Yeah, and purpose and legacy and looking at immortality. Like, can we just, like... I have a couple more questions, but, like, can we just, like...
Unpack that.
Yeah, unpack that just a little bit, because I get so scared sometimes when I first had the thought of, oh, I've kind of looked death in the face and it ain't that scary. I feel like that's like a really like bad thing to say, or like a really like, how could you sort of thing. And it's like, well, for me, in my experience, there have been a lot of nights where I've had to be like, okay, waiting for results, waiting for things like, okay, like, shleesh, like, it's been bad news up until now.
Yeah.
So, like, this positive thinking's great, but, like,
it's not normal. It's not healthy either.
No, let's just, like...
sit with it.
Yeah, because there's two ways. There's literally two ways this can go. You're going to be okay.
Or you're not. No, isn't it? Like, I don't know about you, but, like, I made peace with... It sounds so grim. I made peace with death. And part of me thought, that's quite peaceful in a way. But also, it's the unpredictability of what's to come next if you do.
And I think when people think about legacy, a lot of times they think about
children.
But I think the pressure of feeling that, leaving a legacy, leaving something behind through this, when that might not be an option for people like us, women like us, is like quite heavy, and it's quite hard to explain to people, or to sort of even to confront within yourself.
Absolutely.
But I think it's a beautiful thing when we accept, or we think, you know, let's not stress about leaving a legacy. Let's focus on being the legacy.
Yeah.
And so I'm really like, you know, sort of taken back when you said, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. This opportunity's come. And if I can help someone else, if I can be remembered for someone that was a little bit selfless in like the time where you should have been really selfish or boundaried, as my therapist likes to say, I think that's a really friggin' cool.
Do you know what, as well? I did think to myself, like, even doing like photo shoots with like lounge underwear and all these things, I thought, this never would have happened if I never got sick. There's like, I call it glitter in a turd. Like, you've been given like something absolutely awful, but you got some amazing opportunities out of it that never would have happened if it never happened.
If there's any graphic designers out there, can you make us t-shirts? You know the emoji, like the poo emoji? Can you make that, but like just glitter? And then like we will wear it, and everyone that knows what we're talking about. Yeah. The glitter and the shit. Yeah. That's us.
Well, it's a shit show, you know.
I've got a question. So for anybody who is at the stage in their life where they're, you know, being asked to work with a charity to advocate, and they might be actually going through their treatment at this point, because it happens. It's happened to us where it's like you're literally in hospital and people are like, hey, hey, would you like to come and share? And you're just like, girl, you know, how to advocate for yourself safely, or like, what is your thoughts about, you know, if you were to give advice to like...
I would say it's a totally personal journey. It's totally up to you whether you're comfortable letting your story be known out there, for one, because not everyone is comfortable. A lot of people are camera shy. A lot of people struggle. Lots of people struggle with public speaking. But all I think is how much cancer care has developed in even 10 years has been incredible. If I had my diagnosis 10 years ago, I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you in the car.
Right.
Just because of the type of cancer I had triple negative breast cancer. So it wasn't hormonal at all. So there's nothing they could give me that would keep my body in balance. It just grows, and it's just very much, they say to you, this treatment, it either works or it doesn't. So you're like... Also, how can we help medical professionals develop their practices and their research to like broaden their horizons for the rest of us? And when I got the opportunity to speak at the hospital in Cardiff, the main hospital, I've done about 5 lectures there, and that's with trainee doctors, trainee nurses, all these people who are the future of medicine. And you gave a presentation about your journey and how it was for you, and just being totally transparent, and they're all crying. Yeah. It was more interesting to me because these people who were sat in this lecture theatre were the same age as me.
Do you like the term cancer bestie?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've got a question. Okay. What is something you are sick of hearing as a cancer patient? Okay, I know there's lots of things, but like, what's just like one thing?
You're so young. You're so young.
Yeah.
I was in the cancer hospital. I got mistaken for staph.
Oh, every time, babes. Every time.
Yeah, every time I get mistaken for staph.
I obviously have to go in for like all my scans and stuff like that, but all the bloods where it was quite regular, I was just like, is there any way
this could be local?
This can be a bit more local because of that. I just couldn't. I hated it so much. I hated it because it was just another reminder of like, yeah, I can't believe I'm here either, babes.
Yeah.
Like, I also don't believe this either.
And it's like when you're out of it, you feel like you're finally moving and then it takes you back into that space.
You're so brave for sharing.
Yes.
And things happen to me and I just can't stop talking. Yeah. I'm not brave at all. It's just so, sometimes it is just too much that I'm just like, bleh, sort of thing. So sorry about it. If you knew you were going to have cancer,
right,
would you change anything about your life before cancer?
No. I think.
Have you been asked this before? Because you were like, no.
No. I've had this like with myself.
Okay, nice.
More is that when I was diagnosed, I very much had a conversation with myself where I asked myself, am I proud of my life? Am I happy with what I've done? If this is it, am I glad with everything I've done? And I came to peace and I was like, yeah. Because in my head I was like, I have an amazing loving family. At the time I had a boyfriend, so I've experienced love. I travelled the world for work. I've been on my holidays. I never felt there was anything I felt I hadn't done. And that gave me peace. I have accomplished so many things, more than I actually think I did. Like when I was reflecting, you do think on your life. And at the time I was like, I know I'm 26. Is there anything I haven't done? Actually, I've done a lot. I've done more than most people.
Anal? Do you think grief and gratitude can coexist?
Yeah. I think when you're given that diagnosis, a bit like when I was saying, like, you reflect, but you do grieve who you were before cancer. You know, you were, oh gosh, so naively, I was so much more carefree. The world didn't feel as heavy. I didn't look at people, like, you know when you said earlier about sometimes you feel a lack of empathy? I get that. I totally do. I'm like, it's not that bad. It's really bad because I think before cancer, I would have felt the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But in terms of feel gratitude, I do things which are good for me. I'm now making choices in my life where I think, if this is not good for me, I'm not wasting my time doing it. I used to be so much more of a people pleaser before treatment, but now I'm like, no, I'm going to do everything for me. Now I'm being selfish because I never was before, and I don't regret that. I actually sometimes I miss that me in terms, because things were easier. I didn't have to have difficult conversations with people as much because I would just go with it. But I know, like you say, like, oh, you're so strong, whatever, but I feel like I have grown stronger as a result of it. There are things that's what I mean. I learned so much about myself, which I'm so grateful and full of gratitude for. But I'm also like, it's totally okay to grieve those things cancer took from you. But it's about harnessing what is it that I can do. I feel like we focus so much on what we can't do. And when you're in treatment, oh, you can't do this now, you can't do that. But what can you do?
I didn't think that the gratitude of life and grieving
go hand in hand,
could coexist, and so it's something I'm really learning, and I'm so glad that you said that it can and that you've experienced it. So yeah, I think I just need to try and navigate that a bit more, because especially last year, like, it was like some of the best times of my life.
Yeah, same.
Mixed with like the worst moments. It is. What do you wish had never been part of our experience?
Oh,
as friends.
I wish we'd met each other earlier. I would love to have met you earlier.
How much earlier? Before cancer?
I would love that. Because, you know, like, time is what we all have. We don't know how much time we have. But I'm so grateful to have your time. And we've shared each other's time. And I wish we will have more. Yeah. You know. But I just think what we have is so special. I'd love it if we had more time.
But often when two cancer buddies, it could go one way or the other, isn't it? It's hard to see your cancer friends, like,
going through things.
Going through stuff. And then when they're winning, you're like, yay, I hope I get there too. I hope I get there too. I'm being honest.
No,
like, it's like, you know, seeing people celebrate like their 5-year kind of a cancerversary, which is...
that's huge. That is what you want to aim to get
For me, it is, yeah. And we're nearly there.
And we're going on a holiday.
Yes. At the same time, it's like, please, God, like, I really hope that happens for me.
So...
Did you get told you had the good kind of cancer?
No, I was told I had the bad type.
I got told I was the good.
I think like when people say, oh, you got breast cancer, that's a good one because like it's the most common one, therefore there's more fun. No, like I feel like when people say those terms, they don't understand the spectrum of the types of cancer.
That part.
And the aggression of the cancer.
Yeah, that part.
And how it works. And they just think with female anatomy, oh, it's breast or ovarian. You know, usually, like that, they're like the common. And now we know more about ovarian.
Yeah, we do.
Because women's health is taken a bit more seriously, but we're so...
What are you taking away from this conversation today?
Your time.
Oh,
I'm glad for that.
How are you feeling also? Because, you know,
it's really good. It's great, like therapy.
Yeah.
It's nice. Try not to be toxically positive on yourselves. If you're having a bad day, have your bad day. Because
and lean into it.
You're more likely to come out on an even keel if you allow yourself to feel it. And also don't try and put on like you're okay just to make other people's lives easier around you.
Yeah.
I'm most grateful for your time.
Oh, I'm grateful for your time. We should do this again.
Yes.
Yeah? Cheers.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.